Hey guys, welcome back to another video. In this one, we're going to finish up building the 25mm machine guns and also both types of 40 caliber anti-aircraft guns, the uncovered and the covered. And then I show you how I scratch build some blast bags. So let's get started. Alright, so I'm removing these barrels with a hobby knife. You can use side cutters on these outside ones, but I'm going to need a hobby knife to get this middle one out since that space that it sits into is so narrow. Just scrape to clean up the area. That'll be good enough because we'll smooth it out here in a minute. Get this other one. Alright, that'll be good enough. And for this middle one, it's such a narrow spot. Looks like I've knocked the tip off of my blade already. This was a brand new blade just a minute ago. So I'm just pushing it up into the gap and making several small cuts until I get it out. Here we go. And now we'll just go down the sides and just scrape out that center piece. Alright, that's how I'm taking the the barrels out. Now I'm going to come in with a 0.4mm micro drill bit. I'm just going to place it roughly where the plastic barrel was. And I'm just going to do a couple of turns. Make sure I'm staying level with the first hole I drilled. There we go. These holes don't need to be super deep, they just need to be able to hold the super glue and the pin on the back of the barrel, give it something to anchor to. Alright, there we go. Now we got our holes drilled. I'm just going to use some Tamiya extra thin. This is again the quick set for this kind of work, because I don't want it to stay wet or sticky or soft for long. There we go. Just get rid of all that. Move that out of the way. Alright, so next, I've already got my wax, my tea light with my super glue sitting in it. I want to come in, we're going to start with the middle barrel. Put a little bit of glue there in that cavity. And I've already got all my photo etch pieces ready to go. Here's barrel 1 right in the middle. So first I'm going to check and got the elevation where I want it, and then we're going to make sure that it's straight coming out of the gun there. That looks pretty good, so now we'll move on to this barrel. There we go, make sure it's level with the first and that it's straight. That looks pretty good. Actually, it's a little low. Yep, that's good. Alright, I'll put on the third barrel. A lot of times I use black CA glue. I think I've shown that in the past. I just don't have any on hand right at the moment. But it helps you to see easily how much you're putting on. Not that you can't see the clear, but it just makes it a little easier to see. Alright, so there's the 3 installed. I'm going to hit it with some accelerator. Get those nailed down faster. And we're just going to set it to the side for now. Alright, now we're going to focus our attention on the main part of the gun. Make sure this is focused. Alright, so I'm going to add the rest of our photo etch. So we're going to start with the, garage doors on both sides. So the photo etch has to perfectly conform to this shape. So what I've done is you can see that these look like they're discolored. That's because I've annealed the metal. So all you do to anneal the metal is you just hold a lighter underneath or some kind of heat source until the color starts to change. But that's it. Take away the heat because you don't want to melt or damage the part. But now that it's been annealed, it's going to bend a lot easier. So I'll start by putting some CA glue in this space, and we're just going to make sure it goes all the way to the corners, along the sides. And it doesn't take much. This is just a small glue looper, and just one dollop from that is enough. So we're just going to place that into position. I'm going to line it at the bottom, and I'm going to hold it in place with one end under the tweezer, and with the other I'm going to fold it and bend it over into place. And you see how easily that just perfectly conformed to that space? It's because we annealed the metal. So just my tip for the day, I guess. You're working with photo etch. You need to bend things or curve them around a space. Alright, so we'll get this other one on. Same thing. Get it lined up at the bottom. Let it bend and conform just like that. Alright, those are done. So now we'll move on to the railing that goes around the top back portion. And I've already pre-bent it. As you can see, it's down here on the table. And we'll just go all the way around here, putting a little bit of super glue in each of these little holes. And it's nice the kit comes molded with these holes, these little contact points for your photo etch. Some kits don't have that, and you've got to drill your own, which means you got to measure it and be precise, or you're going to have a nightmare time getting it to stand in place without something to sink into. Alright, so we'll just get this in position. I start on one end, just like that. Make sure that gets down into those recesses. Whoa. Oh yeah, once you get a little super glue on your tweezers, that's not ideal. Alright, so I've got that in. I'm just going to use my finger. I know I usually say don't use your finger, but in this case, you really don't have much else. Okay. Alright, so half of it is in. I'm just going to use my finger. I'm not really pushing down hard. I'm just lightly applying a little bit of pressure just to hold it in place while I get the rest of this lined up. There we go. Looks like the glue is grabbed. Looks like it's come up a little bit in the back. Just hold that down until the glue starts to grab it. I don't want to put accelerator on it quite yet because I've got more photo etch pieces to put on there. And once you put accelerator on the plastic, I don't know if it's the fumes or what, but it seems to make your glue start to grab real quick, and then it doesn't give you a lot of time to work with it. Alright, so the next couple pieces are pretty easy. They just go out on the front. Again, there's already some molded in holes for it to drop into. Just going to place it on there and just get it standing up on its own for now. Just get it straight up and down. There we go. I'll just do the other side exactly the same way. This one isn't exactly square. I've accidentally bent it a little bit. Alright, good deal. Alright, so now that those are on, I will come in with that accelerator and just put some on there, and that's gonna just finalize the adhesion, I guess you can say. It's gonna make that super glue cure. Alright, so now that I've got these down, I've got the accelerator on there, they're gonna pretty much hold their position pretty well, and I'm just gonna take tweezer, I'm just going to bend these ends in a little bit till they contact the plastic. Do that on both sides. Alright, so now the last thing to do is add our barrels in, and I would recommend maybe sanding the edges. I've just been dealing with it, but this is kind of a real tight fit here. Get pushed back. Try not to mess up your barrel. There it goes. Yeah, it's kind of a tight fit. Looks like I moved that one a little bit. I'll just adjust it. Cool. That looks good. These a little extra thin. And that'll secure that in. You probably don't even need it. That fit is so tight. So there it is. That's the covered 25mm machine guns. I'm going to go ahead and finish building up the rest of these, and then we'll move on to the next gun, which is going to be the Type 89 40 caliber anti-aircraft turret. Back in a minute. Alright guys, I'm moving on to the first 40 caliber gun, the ones that were installed in 1944. Nothing real special about this one. I'm just going to be quiet and put it together for you. Alright, that's it. That's how these 40 caliber anti-aircraft guns are going together. And we'll move on to the covered 40 caliber machine guns here in just a second. Alright guys, well now I'm putting together the covered 40 caliber anti-aircraft guns. We'll just start with the base. And again, nothing real special here. Just going to use a little to-me extra thin and some CA glue, just like before. Hit the easy button on that one. Okay, great. Okay, so that's it. That's these other covered 40 caliber AAA machine guns. So, yep, 5 more to do, and I think we'll take a look at them. And before we move on to, what do we have left? The 15.5 centimeter guns, and then the main battery. We'll take a look at these all together, and then I think we'll go ahead and get them painted before we move on to the bigger guns. Alright, back in a sec. Alright guys, this is what we have so far. All the 25 caliber stuff and all the 40 caliber anti-aircraft guns are all built ready for paint. However, while I was getting ready for that, I was noticing that the 40 caliber guns, the covered ones, have this blast bag on there. So I wanted to add that to my 40 caliber guns. So I don't know if you can see that. There. So as you can see, I've scratch built some blast bags for these 40 caliber guns, and I wanted to show you how I did that before we went to paint. And since this video is starting to get a little long, I'm running out of time, and I'd like to try to get some of these videos out a little bit faster for you guys. I think after we put some blast bags on this gun, I'll go ahead and wrap the video up after this. So let me adjust the camera, and we'll put some blast bags on this thing. Alright guys, so I'm going to show you how I'm scratch building the blast bags on these covered 40 caliber anti-aircraft guns. So I'm using my Infinity cutting mat, and I've got some electrical tape. I've got some medical tape that has a nice texture to it. So I think that's going to look pretty nice and in scale. So I've already kind of figured through trial and error what's working here. So I've already measured this one out, and we're just going to place it right on top of the gun and kind of wedge it into this space right here. Just like so. And it doesn't have to be perfect. Some of the nice thing about the blast bags is there's some irregularity in them. And then we'll take another piece and place that there. And I believe cutting these, I think these are 3 millimeters in width. And we'll just place that underneath and start getting it wrapped around. I'll use a pin to help get into position underneath. And we'll wrap it around the top, just like this. I'll put that seam on the bottom. Just kind of roll it over top, kind of blend it into the other piece we put up there. There we go. That's how I'm scratch building these blast bags. Alright, let's do one more on the other side. Place it on top like that. Wrap it around and kind of mush it down right there at the base of the gun. This one needs a little more shaping. Okay. Alright, I'm going to grab another strip of this medical tape. Like that. Looks like I got a little piece that it's not wanting to stick. Oh, there it goes. There it went. Alright, so yeah, that's how I'm scratch building these blast bags. I think maybe go over it with just a little bit of extra thin CA to smooth it out and nail it down permanently. Although this is very tacky, so I think we'll probably get away with not doing that if you didn't want to. Anyway, so I think that's where I'm going to wrap this video up. When we get back with the next video, we'll have these painted up and we'll move on to the bigger guns. Thanks very much for watching, guys. I hope you're enjoying this build series. I'm trying to get more of these videos out to you a little bit faster. So, yeah. Hope you're liking it, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye, guys.